Hi everyone, my name is Shannon and I want to welcome you here to the Cozy Christmas Cottage. If you love Christmas gnomes, then you are definitely in the right place. I was so excited to see Dollar Tree starting to jump in on this popular trend. They have lots of amazing things this holiday season, so make sure to keep your eye open. I grabbed a few. We're also going to take some regular Christmas items from Dollar Tree as well and turn them into some adorable gnome holiday decor today. All right, so I'm so excited. Let's get Gnome. These are some cute little ornaments from Dollar Tree, 4 in a pack. Great bargain because that means they're only 25 cents a piece. And we're gonna turn these from ornaments into a garland. So you simply want to snip the tops of the loops of your ornaments there. And we're gonna keep those on there because they're gonna help hold our gnomes onto the garland. So I always like to add my ribbon or string to the space where I wanna put it. That way it makes it a little bit easier to space out the elements we're gonna add onto the garland. So I'm just using a velvet ribbon for mine, but like I said, you can use yarn or string or twine, jute, something Christmassy if you want, and then use those ribbon tabs at the top of your ornament to tie onto your string. So I'm starting with the 4 gnomes first and kind of evenly spacing them out, and you kind of get a really simplistic look this way, but I thought it looked a little bit sparse. So let's go ahead and also add in some extra little elements too. These are little felt snowflakes that are from Hobby Lobby, and they were only about $2.50 for a set of 8 of these on sale. And what I'm doing is just using some inexpensive red ribbon to tie them onto this garland. But Dollar Tree also carries some cute snowflake ornaments that you could use instead of these felt ones too. So this is still such a very simple look, but also a really full kind of banner look. I left my ribbons long on those snowflake ornaments, but you let me know down below if you would cut those short or leave them long. I just thought it kind of added a little bit extra whimsy to this look. Up next, we're also going to grab one of these bell ornaments from Dollar Tree and also a pair of their cozy socks. So yes, we're going to take these 2 items and turn them into the cutest gnome. Go ahead and take off the top of the bell. We're not going to need that part. We're going to work on his beard first. That'd be a good idea to sort of make a base for his beard so that it didn't kind of be all over the place and take forever to make. So what we're going to do is cut out some felt into a long rectangle shape. This is yarn from Dollar Tree also. I have a small notebook that I'm going to wrap this around and around until I have quite a bit, and then slip this off and hot glue that right onto your felt. We're gonna leave the side that we hot glued down loopy, but we're gonna go ahead and take our scissors and snip through the loops at the bottom so we get more of that hairy beard look. And then we're gonna hot glue that onto the bell right underneath that lip in the middle. Now we're going to turn this sock into our gnome's hat. This works out perfectly because it sort of stretches the right amount to go around the size of this bell. And I'm just pulling this over into the front where the beard is and then lower down in the back. I went ahead and added some hot glue in the back there and then moved up to the front to hot glue that down. The emoji of the day is a snowflake, and I thought it would be so fun if you left me the number of snowflakes in the comments below based on how much snow you like. So maybe 1 snowflake for a little bit of snow, and lots of snowflakes if you love lots of snow. Of course, he needs a little nose. This is a small wood bead. I like to order these on Amazon because they come in a mix of sizes. So depending on the size of the gnomes that you're creating, you can kind of pick and choose how big of a bead that you want. And you can also paint these too, so you can really customize and personalize your gnomes that way. This is where I went ahead and stretched that sock down over the nose a little bit to stay in place. And then at the end of the sock, you'll just wrap a little piece of yarn around the end, snip off the end there to make it look more like a hat instead of a sock, and you have a cute little bell gnome. Whether you use this for an ornament or a shelf decorative piece or even on a tiered tray, this guy is definitely cute. I don't know what it was, but I knew these triangle signs at Dollar Tree were going to be super awesome for Christmas time. I've already made one Christmas tree out of them. This one, we're going to turn around to the back side and actually use it to create a gnome, along with one of these furry white scarves from Dollar Tree too. So like I said, flip over your sign, and we need to remove that sticker because we're also going to paint this and cover it up. We do not want that in the way. You can also take a little bit of Goo Gone to this to get any residue off before painting. I wanted mine to look obviously like a Christmas gnome, so he is getting a red hat with some red chalk paint. And of course, please get creative and give your gnomes their own personality and change the colors out to match your own decor or your own style. And we're going to turn this scarf into his beard. So I traced the outline of the triangle, but we're going to cut this shape out about an inch larger so that we can cover up the sides and also wrap this around the sides and the bottom. Then use some hot glue to hot glue this right over that paint line so you don't see the unfinished edge, and around the sides and up into the back of the sign to wrap it and give it a clean look. This wood bead is a little bit different. It is a flat one on the back side, so it's kind of like a half size. I'll link these down below too. I like to get these off Amazon as well. Just adding a little bit of hot glue onto the back of that and centering that on the fuzzy fur. Now this may look like a Santa Claus, but by the time we're done with it, it is going to be a super cute gnome. I wanted to still keep him having sort of that Santa Claus look. So the hat, again, I'm painting red. We're going to pull out the scraps from our last project with the fuzzy scarf and use that as an embellishment piece on the bottom of this hat. I also attached a big white fuzzy pom-pom onto the end of the hat too. So you'll just trace on the back side of the fur, flip it over, and then hot glue that down. So this is macrame cord, and I'll link this down below too. It just has a little bit more of a natural tone to it. It's not a solid white, so I thought it'd be cute to create a beard out of it. I'm just hot gluing a bead of glue around the bottom of the hat and then cutting each one of these strings individually a little bit longer than the sign. So you can see here I have the whole thing covered with the macrame cord. This is a 1-inch size wood bead. Again, I'll link this down below. I'm just going to hot glue that right up underneath the brim of the hat to create his nose. These are great gnome ornaments that Dollar Tree carries, and I wanted it to be more of like a shelf sitter versus an ornament. And I wish I would have had some beans on hand to fill him up, but I didn't, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. I have these Jenga blocks or tumbling tower wood pieces. I thought it'd be nice to kind of set this on the bottom, so I had to cut up his backside there to create a little hole and then smush his stuffing inside to the top so I could stick this wood piece on the bottom to kind of give him a place to sit on a shelf. And then I covered up the hole with a piece of ribbon, but if you have some matching felt, that would work too. I would love to have put some beans in him and just taken the stuffing out so that he could sit a little bit better and have some weight. Next time I will definitely do this, but this is another option, especially if you have lots of those wood pieces laying around. Another little bit of a accessory I'm going to add to him are some reindeer ears. I've seen some online. I thought they were so cute, so I'm kind of recreating my own here. This is just some stiff brown felt, just freehanding some miniature antlers to hot glue onto his hat. You can also find miniature bags of pine cones at Dollar Tree. This is one of the larger ones out of the bag that I purchased. We're going to turn him into a gnome, of course. So we need to paint this pine cone white first because that is going to be his beard. And to turn this into an ornament, you'll need a length of ribbon to create just a loop with. You'll cut the bottom off. That way you can glue the knot that you're creating onto the top of your pine cone. For the nose this time, I'm adding a pink pom-pom. Of course, you can use whatever works best for you. And I'm adding that kind of about a quarter of the way down the pine cone. This is actually a t-shirt, and you're gonna see this again shortly. Grab t-shirts from Dollar Tree. They make great fabric for crafting with. I'm creating a cone shape out of just a little scrap piece of the t-shirt, hot gluing it so that it will create that hat, and then cutting the bottom off so that it is straight. Don't glue all the way up the side. You want to leave the top point open a little bit because we're going to slip this right over that ribbon loop so that it can stick out the top and you'll be able to hang your ornament up. So once you slide your hat onto your pine cone, you can hot glue it into place, and you can create lots of these very inexpensively and very quickly. I got lucky and I came across an end cap full of black and white buffalo check accessories, except they were kind of generic. We're going to turn this coffee mug into one with a gnome on it. I loved this little SVG file I found on Etsy. I'll link that down below too. Went ahead and cut out all the elements that it comes with my vinyl machine and different colors of vinyl. We're going to apply these to our coffee mug to turn it from an everyday coffee mug into the cutest gnome coffee mug. With vinyl and this type of thing, you'll just layer each color one by one until you have your finished design. This is a pre-made ornament from Hobby Lobby that was really inexpensive. I want to say it was only like $2 or $3. And you can, of course, use and create your own gnome too, but this is an easy way if you prefer not to. I also had a leftover jar hanging around. You can also use Dollar Tree mason jars if you want. I'm painting it out white so that way it kind of just blends in. This is going to be the body of our gnome. So I put the lid back on top here and hot glued that ornament right to the top. It makes it easier for it to sit on a shelf, but you can also use this to give gifts in. So really nice way to even throw some money in there or add some candies in there and pass out to your friends and family. I had to put this project in here. This is one me and my mom did a few years ago together, and I think that's probably why I love it so much. But it is also one of the most fun projects too. She actually did all of the teaching in this video and I followed along with her. It was a lot of fun. So I will link this full video down in the description box along with the iCards. Definitely suggest going and watching this full video because then you'll get like all of the details. This is just kind of the shortened version, but you'll also see some of the commentary and also some of the bloopers that I put at the end. This is just a really fun time, and also it turns out a super cute gnome at the end too. The boots that we're using are from Target, the dollar spot, a few years ago. They don't carry them anymore, but check thrift stores for kids' boots. You could use a flower pot instead. Get creative with the boots because I don't think you're gonna be able to find those anymore, but there are different alternatives. We're also using 2 Dollar Tree Christmas trees and putting them together to make them more full. And then we're gonna attach those into the styrofoam with some hot glue. And like I said, use something an alternative for the boots. I've had lots of people message me asking where those are from. That's a huge question I get all the time. And there's just, I'm not sure. Sometimes they carry them in the spring with the gardening stuff. So just keep your eye out year round. You may stumble upon some. So here's what it looks like with our Christmas tree in our boots. These are Dollar Tree fleece scarves that we're going to use for 2 things. We're going to make some mittens first for our gnome. We're also going to make a hat in just a minute. So you're going to cut a couple inches off the bottom here, double them up, and you're going to make 4 little mittens all together, but you're going to glue 2 of them together, just running your bead of glue around the outside edge and putting them together. You can sew this too if you would rather sew, but if you're not a sewer like me, then just use your hot glue. Once it's dry, you can flip those inside out. We're going to use those, like I said, for his little mittens. The scarves, the rest of the scarf, we're going to turn into his long hat. So you can see here, we're going to fold this over so that we have kind of a long rectangle. We're gonna cut this at an angle. So you're gonna start at one corner and cut it up the side into a point. That way when you open this up, you will end up with 2 big long triangles. This is the same concept as the mittens. We're going to hot glue up the edges of those triangles and then flip them inside out. At the bottom, you'll just kind of twist and wrap those up to give him a nice brim on his hat, and then sit those on the tops of your Christmas trees. We're also going to add a Dollar Tree jingle bell onto the end of his hat. Of course, he needs a nose, and the smaller sized ornaments at Dollar Tree are the perfect size. So we're hot gluing that up underneath his hat and then hot gluing his mittens onto some branches off to the side. We also added some paint underneath his nose to make it look more like he has a beard. So you can see we made several of these and gave them away as gifts. You can really get personalized with these and change out the hats, and also use the white Christmas trees the Dollar Tree carries to really get a fun and unique looking gnome. So I have to tell you, my favorite Christmas movie ever is The Grinch. You have to let me know what your favorite Christmas movie is down in the comments below. But we're going to make a Grinch gnome with a Dollar Tree red t-shirt, one of their mop heads, and some of their green yarn, and a few other things too. But let's start by creating all of his fur with that yarn. Same kind of thing, kind of creating a tassel effect and tying a knot at the top and cutting the loops at the bottom. I'm gonna be hot gluing this onto a styrofoam cone. You get these at craft stores pretty inexpensively, but you could use a mason jar or something too in place of this. And we are just doing this twice to really make sure that cone is covered. So again, with our red Dollar Tree t-shirt, this is what we're going to use to create the hat. Very similar concept and process like we did on the Christmas tree gnome. Cutting out 2 triangles, hot gluing the edges together, leaving that bottom open, and then flipping it inside out so it has more of a seamed and finished look. And again, you can of course sew this if you prefer to. We also want to add a little bit of stuffing to this hat to give it some shape above that cone area. So you're not going to stuff it completely full, just at the top. And then go ahead and hot glue that onto your cone. Our Grinch definitely needs a green nose, so I took a wood bead and painted it green before letting it dry and hot gluing that up underneath the hat. Next, we're going to use that mop head as the furry, fuzzy part of our gnome's hat. So I cut a strip of that off and then hot glued that around the base. I also kind of scrunched some up into a ball shape so that way I could put some on the end of the hat too. It really is just endless, the different styles of gnomes and how you can use them in your home's decor, not just at Christmas time, but even all year long, because they are so cute and functional. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below which one of these gnome projects was your favorite. I would love to hear that. Also, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you soon. I'll have more Christmas DIYs popping up on your screen you can check out next. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you next time. Happy holidays.